Good evening here in the UK. It's just gone 5 PM, or in New York it's 12 PM. Just a very quick recap on my trading today. I'm just going to go through my levels quickly on the hourly, and then I'll go into the 5 minute, show you my trade. So this is the MES 1 hour, or the ES 1 hour time frame. And for my pre-market video today, we talked about this descending wedge pattern, this pattern here. And I had two plays, either the break below this area and look for a short, or if we broke out through this area, I wanted to look for a long. And that was basically, I had a couple of rejects around. One reject was up here in this area, and I had a couple of bounces down here which we're not near at the moment, we're right in between. So let's take a look at the 5 minute. So that was my plan, and this is my execution. So we had the pre-market. This is a 5 minute chart now. So that's that descending downward trend line we were discussing, and this is the bottom area. I got an alert down there, and the alert never triggered. That was my area to look for a high risk bounce or a break and retest short. And in my plan, and I'll just open up my plan as well, which is just so I always before I was over here. I've got so many screens open. So before I do any trading in the market, even if I'm late, I always put in my plan for the day. So hourly wedge, if it's below 45.53, look for shorts. Above 45.64, look for longs. And that was the first bit. So let's move it over here. So I said if it's below this area, look for shorts. If it's over 45.64, look for longs. And then I also said there's a 45.90 reject, which is this area up here, and a 45.64 is a higher risk rejection, but on a day, it's a daily level, and we were down here at the time. And then higher probability bounces was this level here, 45.53, and one further down, and that's it. And I always put in a scenario and a drawing of what I'm looking at today as well, so I can refer back to it. So I was watching for that descending wedge pattern and looking for a break of structure. That's all I was looking for today. And I put, if market's going strong, look for high risk trend line rejection. It was too strong for that, so that wasn't in play. In market sells, often try and find a short entry or the break of the wedge. I did mention about the break of the wedge and the upward, because as part of my hourly wedge, part of my trading plan. Excuse me. So quickly into the 5 minute chart, I'll show you my entry. So my plan was in place before the market is open. I did my live video as well, where I came up, I gave these levels out live as well, and so that ticks off my organisation for the morning. And when the market opened about 9 o'clock, we were discussing it in the live video, and it came in, it did reject that area afterwards, came back down, and then we saw a strong push up in the market open, and that was a move up through this area, so there was no play for that. It did come back down and retest that area. However, the problem was there was a big news event at 10 AM today. It was job openings, and I was looking for a break and retest long, and it would have worked well had I taken that as a RBI. I could have maybe put a stop in there, but this is a news candle. I don't trade the news, so I was happy to sit it out. So we saw this big push up on the news, and then I started looking for my entry. So we're well and truly above the downward trend line, above the VWAP, above the 200 moving average. So I was only looking for a long at this point, waiting for it to come down, and I got an entry at, if I remember rightly, I think I took one at that level there, because that was, even though it was a previous level from a few days ago, I was still there. I was using that as a potential bounce area, and then I took the next level there. So I had a level down here, level here. My average price was 45.70, about here. Then we had this double topping bottom tail. I know they're indecision candles, but we saw the tails at the bottom, and it trailed up along this 8 moving average. My first target was there, so I got my first target perfectly, and that's great. And then we had this big pullback, a massive pullback, and we got down to the VWAP. Instead of getting out, even though I was in a bit of, I was better than break even because I took profit up here and my break even was about there. I reloaded my position back there again, so back on the VWAP, and it was the break and retest which we were probably really waiting for as well. That's the area I was waiting for. So break and retest on the pre-market high, so that's that area. You could say that area as well, or the main opening high. So I was in there, and we had a massive big, in fact I took a screenshot of it and I'll show you that, and we had a massive big area of sellers, and I was being patient through that. Let's have a look, is it here? Let me just drag the picture across. So I took a screenshot of the level 2 on bookmap, and we can see just here we had it went over 1,700 sellers sitting there, and last we came up into that level on a big green aggressive buyers, but it couldn't penetrate it, came down, came back up, retested it, couldn't penetrate it, and eventually, I haven't got the screenshot, eventually we came back up again and we took out the level before, 75, was it 45, 75, 75 was an area where we kept rejecting, that's where it rejected there, and then suddenly we took out all 1,700 contracts for the big push up, and so that was a great way. That was patience, and ticked off all of my A plus, my A games, my A game trading traits. That was having patience, waiting, reading the market, looking for potential people trapped in the market, and no, that's just reading level 2. So we got through, where was it? We got through 76 to that area there, and it was a previous daily area as well. So we got through that area and we pushed all the way up, took a bit of profit there, and I didn't take anything up here because my target was 45.90. That's where I was looking to get out, just below that level, and then it came all the way back down, and I was a bit disappointed. I got out, my break even was about there, so I got out on the VWAP basically, and I did give away almost 50% of my contracts on that move down. So I made it on the 3 contracts going up, and then the 2 coming down I gave back, which is a bit frustrating, but I didn't, the idea of not to lose on it, and I was trying to hold my break-even stop loss. But however, what I did do, sorry, my break-even was there. What I did do, when it came back down into this 50 and into this 200, I took another 2 contracts. So even though I got out there, I got back in here, which is a much better price, and then I got out on that level there, the point of control, and I got out literally on the very top there. So that was my out. So that more than regained this loss of contracts down. So end of the day, pretty happy. And what we're looking at now, we're looking at a bit of a channel. It's trading down, so maybe it's creating that kind of channel, and maybe we're going to see it break out. And let's do a better trend line. So it's quite narrow, and let's just, if we do that, it looks a bit more convincing. It looks like we might be breaking out of it now anyway, and we've got obviously this trend line down here as well, so potentially we're creating a bit of a bull flag. So coming down, it's an area to watch. Maybe this channel's not that great, I can probably redefine that as there, something like that. But this could be the breakout. So, but I'm done trading for the day. It was a good day trading. I had a few issues with my Apex copier today. There's a new version of the Apex copier, and it's much better, but there's a few quirks, and now I know about them, it won't be as distracting every morning, because I was trying to get in on my first trade today, and it was only copying it into one account, but there's a bug. I think it's a known bug. Right, that's it really. One thing to look at is Bitcoin again. Look at that. So it's well and truly over the 4,200 area. As I said earlier, I've got an invested interest in Bitcoins. I've been loading up on Bitcoin this year, and all my cryptos as well, which I've kind of neglected for the last year or so, are all back in positive territory now. When we were around here, wasn't in 2021, it's 2022, I was loading up as we was coming down, and then I thought, you know what, I'm going to let it settle. And I think my break even was around this area for a lot of the different ETH. I had Ethereum, Algo, a few others as well. Bitcoin's another one. And then this year, I started to load up. I think I started around about here, and just once a month, just buy a little tiny bit into it, and it seems to be doing pretty well now. I don't have massive amounts because there's only small amounts I'm buying, because I don't want to put too much money into it, but it's doing pretty decent now, enough to keep me interested in it. And I think I'm up about 50% on, must be over 50% now on Bitcoin. So not bad. Right, thank you for watching, and have a good day, rest of your trading, and trade safe.